Are you sick of the power grind in Destiny? It's been 7 years and we've been through the same process of leveling up base power to max power over and over again. So there's talk in the community of burnout and fatigue, and people are pointing towards the power grind. So today I'm going to have a look at the power grind, reasons why this is being brought up, suggest a few ideas for change, but most importantly I want your ideas on how the power grind could be improved in the future. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. So to start with, let's have a look at the current power grind in Destiny 2 Beyond Light, and this is the journey from base power, which is 1050, to max power, which is currently at 1260. So at the start of Beyond Light, for existing players, all of our armour and weapons were brought up to the new base power level of 1050, and for new players this meant starting out at 1050 power level, so in essence everyone starts out on a level playing field. Power levels are requirements for the content, and much of the endgame content requires a certain power level before you can jump in. For example, the recommended power level for the Deepstone Crypt raid is 1230, but the final boss scales up to 1250. Legend Lost Sectors, they're set at 1250, and Master Lost Sectors are 1280, and Grandmaster Nightfalls are 1300 if you want to jump into that. And if you're going to jump into this content and not get your ass handed to you by the enemies, then you're going to have to level up your power towards the pinnacle cap. Starting out in Destiny 2 Beyond Light at 1050, you can jump into the campaign immediately, and as you progress through the missions, the enemies get increasingly more difficult. At one point in the campaign, I had to jump out and level up to 1200 in the middle because the enemies were simply too tricky and I couldn't solo my way through the campaign. So there's a couple of distinct stages to the power grind. So you've got the soft cap, that's 1050 to 1200, where nearly all drops in the game will help you level up. Once you break through that soft cap, then you want to make your way to the hard cap of 1250, and this can be done through powerful rewards all over the map. And then finally there's the pinnacle cap of 1260, which you can get through gathering pinnacle drops. Now I know there is a lot more nuance to that process, but that is a very brief and high level description of the power levels. So this isn't a new process to Destiny players. We become used to climbing the power levels when a new DLC comes out. However, there is a conversation going on in the community at the moment that the whole power grind is getting dull and repetitive. So hardcore players hit the power cap within a few days, and many other players feel burnt out by the power grind, or it just simply puts them off. You might be someone who really likes Destiny and you want to convince a few friends to jump in, so they then have to play somewhere between 5 and 10 hours just to level up, just so they can play endgame content with you. And that can be a little bit tricky if you're a solo player and you want to get friends involved. So the process is all too familiar. You jump into the new content, you pick up blue items, you get in the campaign, you complete the post-campaign content if there is any, and once you hit the soft cap, then it's carefully selecting the content that's going to get you towards max power as fast as possible. So this process can take anywhere between a few days to a few months, depending on how invested you are or how much preparation you've done in the previous season. Personally, I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I'm currently sitting at 1250 base power, and that's without any artifact or seasonal gains. Perhaps the community are just tired of the process because we've done it so many times. We're in the 7th year of Destiny at the moment, with the first game having been released on the 9th of September 2014. Perhaps there's too much repetition and it's just finally getting stale. The power grind conversation could also be a reflection of something else, or underlying frustrations within the community at the moment and manifesting itself as a conversation about the power grind. Destiny is kind of like an iceberg. It's going through continuous evolution all the time, trying to become the game that Bungie wants it to be. Sunsetting has been a sore point in the community since it was announced, with many weapons, activities and entire moons and planets removed from the game, not to mention the raids and all the other endgame content. To be fair, Bungie outlined the reasons for doing so back in June 2020. So Bungie said, Destiny is too large to efficiently update it and maintain. The size and complexity of the game are also contributing to more bugs and less innovation. And instead of building a Destiny 3 and leaving D2 behind, each year they're going to cycle older, less actively played content out of the live game and into what they're calling the Destiny Content Vault. So it's the first 2 points that are really the most important. It's too large to efficiently update and maintain, and the size and complexity of the game is also contributing to more bugs and less innovation. So this round of sunsetting has been like pruning Destiny. They've cut back the branches of the game to build a more sustainable Destiny for the future. Bungie is also finding its way since the release from Activision and also working through a global pandemic. Shadowkeep was the first iteration of Destiny in a post-Activision world. However, I very much doubt that there was much time to implement real change. We've had the introduction of Seasons proper, Armor 2.0 in Shadowkeep, and now with Beyond Light, we're seeing an iteration on that with Stasis, Transmog coming sometime in 2021, and no doubt Bungie is going to be leaning more into the action MMO. Now, I would love to hear what you think of the current power grind. Are you a veteran player? And have you done this year after year? What do you think? Also, if you're new to Destiny or have come from a similar game like WoW or Warframe, what do you think? How could it be improved? So having had a look at the problems and the fatigue, let's have a little think about what could be done in the future. So these are just some initial suggestions, but I would love to hear what you think too. Well, first of all, we could all start out at max power. So rather than having to go through the leveling process, we all could start at the highest level possible. And the pros of this, we could just jump into the endgame content immediately and not have to worry about the repetitive process of leveling up our power. Although, would the game get stale even quicker? If we didn't have the hoops to jump through to get to the endgame content, would we bounce off the game even faster? Next up, we could invest materials in gear, so rather than have an overall power level, perhaps a system with our weapons and mods that allow us to open up endgame content by investing materials into the gear, masterworking weapons and armour could be somehow tied into getting into that endgame content. Now, I don't know if this is just moving the problem into a new place, because you've got that power grind with levelling up your power at the minute, and moving that investment rather than a power number into your weapons. I don't know if that's going to be more interesting or not. Plus, it does sound very similar to what we had in D1, and player feedback at the time was that it was too grindy. Let me know what you think. Is there some system in there where we could masterwork our weapons, or maybe through mods and material investment in weapons, could we do something to replace that power grind? And finally, there's difficulty levels. So we currently have these levels in Nightfall. You've got Adept, Hero, Legend, Master and Grandmaster. Could we just implement these levels across the whole game? But I don't have a good alternative at the moment to the current power grind, but I do hear the concerns from the community and just wanted to make a quick video on it and gather your thoughts and ideas and some feedback. So if you don't like the power grind and have a good idea about an alternative, then let us know down there in the comments. And alternatively, if you do like the power grind, I would love to hear why, and if you want to keep that system going into 2021 and 2022. Well, slightly different video today. This is more of a conversation. I'd love to hear your feedback, but that is it for this look at the power grind in Destiny 2 Beyond Light. And as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description. Or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.